Do you know why Joy Division are seen as one of the greatest bands of all time, even though they only released 2 albums? A lot of people believe that the band's popularity is tied to the tragic fate of Ian Curtis, their lead singer, but people who say that are often the ones that haven't heard the band's work aside from the most popular tracks. For example, let's take a look at the band's debut, 1979's Unknown Pleasures. For many, the band's best, and there's some good arguments for that since this album featured some of the most thought-provoking poetry Ian ever wrote. But lyrics alone were not enough. This album presented a formula that seems so bizarre, it's no wonder no other band employed it before them. The idea of presenting a depressing philosophy in a rhythmic beat with melodic chord progression sounds insane, but it worked really well. This absurdity represents everyone's everyday life. All of us have dark thoughts, we're all insecure, we doubt people, we feel insufficient, but at the same time we find beauty in the struggle, we dance to the rhythm, and somehow all of these feelings coexist within our brain. I'm sure that wasn't the plan, by the way, but it's hard to call it a coincidence because in the next album we get a similar formula but with a different conclusion. In 1980's Closer, everything feels off, the rhythm is offbeat, the chords are out of tune, and Ian's voice feels distant, as if he was singing from the bottom of a whale. I know it sounds weird, but the thing is, all this was totally intentional because what used to be a mirror of our everyday psyche became a detailed depiction of pure agony. Portraying despair and sadness as a dark, numb, and desolate feeling is probably one of the biggest inaccuracies artists often make. When the human mind reaches its limits, there's no lack of color or sound, there's an overload of it, with no order or sense, just pure chaos. Your mind becomes the main enemy of your senses, and through its uncomfortable sound palettes, this album depicts that in such a masterful way, I can confidently say is one of the best musical experiences there is. So there you go, now you see why Joy Division's praise goes far beyond its tragic history. Yes, they only released 2 albums, but those 2 are of paramount importance when it comes to understanding why music should be seen as a form of art.